Hi everyone, I'm Ali GREYMOND. Today I wanted to talk to you about how to live with uncertainty. And whenever anybody has OCD and they're saying, it's too hard, I can't do it, I feel like I have to figure it out, I feel like I have to do compulsion, I can't not know, I need to analyze, I need to do this. So, what you want to do is try to set very small time limit for yourself. So, I'm going to live in uncertain before I do a compulsion or before I ruminate. And with rumination, it's a little bit harder because it's harder to stop yourself from ruminating. But before I heavily engage in rumination, I'm going to choose to live with uncertainty for a certain amount of time. And when I say certain amount of time, I mean like 15 minutes. So you're setting these very small goals for yourself. And until 15 minutes is up, you're not doing the compulsion, you're not ruminating. And get kind of comfortable with that over and over again. Then once you feel you can tolerate it, go to an hour, and so on. Maybe an hour would be a little bit more of a push, but maybe half an hour, then 45 minutes, and keep increasing it. So over time, you start to be a little bit more comfortable with it. As you do this, your anxiety will start to drop because you're not feeding this theme, this thought. So your anxiety will drop overall. You won't feel as strong of a push to solve it because now you're coming out of it. Even though you're still doing the compulsion, you're delaying it. And this is a much slower way to go, but for some people this might be the only way to go. If your anxiety is really high, if it's really really difficult for you to live with any kind of uncertainty, this might be for now your only option is to just refuse a little bit, and that's okay. It's just what you can handle. If that's all that you can handle, at least do that. I've referenced this before in the previous video, but they've done studies on how um, people's brains who have OCD is different from people who don't have OCD. And the difference was that the brain centers that are responsible for handling stress are not, and again, I'm not saying it in some sort of scientific way. If you Google it, I'm sure you'll come across the study. At some point, I will put it down below this video. Might not be right away, but just check back. I'll put it. I'll find the article and put it down. But or maybe I'll do a separate video on it. We'll see. But I'll note it anyways. So, but the study was that the difference is that people who have OCD, the part that's responsible for stress management, is not as active as for people who don't have OCD. And again, I might not be saying it exactly scientifically correctly, but you understand the general idea. It's not lighting up, put it that way. However, what is lighting up is the analysis, analytics, figuring it out part of the brain. That's lighting up real good. So the person is not able to handle high stress situations and they run to analysis for saving. So to fix this situation, you need to slowly expose yourself to stress, which is not solving the situation, staying in high anxiety, but again, high anxiety, but manageable anxiety. You don't want to, take yourself to a 10 and then you can't manage it and then you start to fall into compulsions. Just say to yourself, okay, for 15 minutes, I'm not going to do any compulsions because I'm training this part of the brain. I'm training it to be able to deal with stress. The more, I can tell you, the more you view OCD methodically and just like clockwork, just like a mechanism, the better off you'll be. Because that's how it works. That part of the brain, it doesn't understand emotion. It doesn't understand the content of the thought. It doesn't understand any of it. It works like clockwork. You tell it it's scary, it's going to send you the thoughts. You tell it it's irrelevant, it will start to slow down on the thoughts. But it can't slow down right away because it wants to make sure that you are okay. So it needs its own reassurance to make sure you are okay. And it takes time for it to get that reassurance. So that's why it's important for you to be consistent. And if you do it little by little, but you are consistent, even though technically you're doing a compulsion, you're doing it a lot later. So you will still get a result out of it. but you need to train that part of the brain to be increasingly more able to tolerate stress while living normal life and like regular life, doing regular things, not just, I can't move off the couch because I am paralyzed with fear. Well, I feel fear, but I can still go and do this, this, and this. So you have to go from that point to that point, right? From point where you can't move to point where you can, but you still feel it. And as you do this, I promise you the fear will go down. Again, not over the course of a day or a week, but over the course of a few months. Because this is pretty much a very, I wouldn't say number one question, but a very, very common question I get asked is, I've been doing recovery work for 3 days. Why am I not recovered? So, and it's, of course, when you're putting this much effort into it, you do want to see result, but you have to understand that just like if you hurt yourself, you can't expect a wound to heal in a day or two. Same thing here. We're fixing something that's not working correctly on a physical level. This is not metaphysical. This is on a physical level. We are changing things. We're balancing things back out. We're taking you out of fight or flight mode. So that's not going to happen overnight. And you have to train, just like you're training muscles if you're going to the gym, same idea here. So putting yourself in the state of, yes, I'm anxious. Okay, I'm going to live with this anxiety for a certain amount of time, and I'm training that part of the brain. That should be kind of the way you're looking at these exercises. And yes, it's going to be painful. It's going to be very painful, but this is necessary in order for me to recover. So that's what I have to do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find my videos helpful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I do daily videos about all things related to OCD recovery. If you would like to do one-on-one recovery program with me, you can sign up on youhaveocd.com and you can book the time there as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.